Hi, this is John Harcher, and welcome to episode 38 of Valleys of Numenor. In episode 6 of the second season of Foundation, we'll see how many of our converging plot lines managed to get touched on this time out. Let's see. Episode 38, Foundation 0206, Why the Gods Made Wine. Alex Graves is back directing again. Harry's hanging out at the beach so early, he's even beat Salver awake. She's having trouble sleeping with all the mentalics thinking at her. One of the children is also up and is able to talk to her without talking. He calls it unvoicing. He shows her a scar on his neck, then allows her to see how it happened. Seems people on his world weren't thrilled with mind readers, so they kill his whole family and then slit his throat right when Talon showed up and killed the attackers. When he brings her to his camp, all the mentalics there show their stories of being rescued by Bond. Harry, Gal, and Salver ask Talon for her help, but she wants nothing to do with them. Gal then shows her what the mule will do to everyone. Bond then runs off and Dornick follows her. So Mentalic says she can't know the future for sure since it's all been through Harry Seldon's filter. She should try to see it for herself. On Trantor, the travel vessel emerges from folding space, or whatever it is, and the newfangled spacers, who look a lot more human than the ones a century ago, wake up the passengers, including Polly and Constant. They arrive at one of the outer rings, and the Emperor is still wishing everyone his peace. Polly goes through the sensors and needs to explain what he's doing there. Comes right out and says he needs to speak to the Emperor. Jaden says, okay, let's both of them through. The two of them head out for a night on the town. Back on Ignis, Harry decides to go fishing and put his feet in the water for the first time in 100 and so years. Salver tries to figure out why he was brought back to life. The vault is a way for him to be immortal and watch his plan come to life. Maybe he was brought back so it wouldn't be just mass numbers of people going through it. He'd be there with them. Sounds like something. He still seems mad about being kept awake for 138 years, but that's in turn for what happened with Raish. But Selden tells Salver that Gal won't turn into him because she's there to act as a balance. On the ship, Bond dropped by for a visit with Dornick. She wants to take a walk around in her mind, so she splashes water in her face to bring her back to Synax. Gal recovers quickly, and Bond reveals she's really afraid of death. Suddenly, Gal picks up a pipe and threatens her with it. She drops the pipe but moves Bond with her mind. This shows what she can be without Selden's influence. Bond says she will let her train all the people on the planet to protect them from the mule, and in turn, this will save Salver. Or will it? Somewhere in space, Hober Mallow wakes up, not sure where he is. His ship stalls dead in space, but is suddenly overwhelmed by a much larger ship. Back on Ignis, Harry and Salver are fishing again and going over the plan one more time. The Harry in the vault doesn't know as much as the original version, and also doesn't know the other one is out there, let alone still alive. Hardin's not happy about maybe having to fight against the people she helped save, but he says it's more like pushing them in the right direction. Even though each Harry has a prime radiant, it's actually the same thing in two different places, if that makes any sense. Gal and Talon show up and tell Harry about the proposal. Selden immediately figures out she made a deal with Dornick. Talon then asks them what happened at a place on his home world to some woman. He realizes she might be manipulating them, so they can't even trust their own minds. On Trantor, Polly and Constant find their room. Polly is so moved, he wants her to dump out the drugs in his pocket. He says her faith is better than his because she never saw Selden like he did, but she believed in the plan anyway, shade to St. Thomas. But his faith is about to be shaken when Imperial guards enter the room and arrest the two of them. Outside in the arena, Emperor Day reveals a refurbished statue of the mother of Cleon I, and in a sense his own mother. It gives him the reason to introduce Sareth to the Empire. She, however, has some of her own ideas. The Empire is there to serve the people, and that will be their mission. Not exactly what Day had in mind. Hober Mallow enters the mysterious ship that seems to be completely empty. It looks like sort of a hive, when he's suddenly dropped to the floor and a band of spacers float around him. He's found their home. Now, what exactly is he doing there? Before we find out more, we go back to Ignis as Salvor tries to find out exactly what happened on Helicon that Tellenbond mentioned. He says he knew when they landed on the planet it would all get away from him, and he just wanders off. When Hardin finds Gal, Mom actually gives her a birthday present. When she asks how she knew, she reveals Tellum told her, and she wished she could thank the Hardins for their good work in raising her. Salvor gives her a hug, which is interrupted by the sound of ships leaving. Then run out and through the binoculars see Harry taking the beggar off-world. Only it's not Harry, it's the guy who impersonated Hugo. Selden is trapped by the mentalics, tied in a pool of rising water by the sea. Then we get our semi-occurrence at Owl Bridge type sequence of flashbacks. When Harry was a child, he figured out how to stand in the middle of a herd of charging monsters and not get run over. His mom is impressed, his dad is not, slapped him silly. Decades later, he's offered a professorship, but he's got to stop all this Empires Will Fall talk. He's about to go into his office when a woman barges in front of him. It's the woman we know as his wife or companion from all those earlier episodes. She publicly says psychohistory is just a theory, but privately tells him it can work. They even figure out a prototype for the Prime Radiant. Later on, she has an even bigger gift, a baby that will be born in a few months. Sometime after, his boss, Dr. Taj, has a great offer, a professorship on Trantor. He's sure it's so the Empire can keep him under their thumb, but Yana tells him they should take it to be closer to its heart, so they can destroy it. He gets a message from Yana to meet the doctor with the Proto-Radiant. He arrives and finds Taj there. She shows him an image of Yana still alive, but he knows it's fake. He takes her out into the middle of nowhere. Well, not exactly nowhere. It's the place he lived as a child. He tells her he knows Yana's dead, so Taj pulls a gun on him. A gun that doesn't work now because Harry fixed it. But it did when she shot Yana. Of course, it was an accident, but that's not going to bring her back. She begs for her life, saying she couldn't have foreseen what happened. Ironic. Suddenly, the monsters who stampeded around him as a child return. Harry grabs her as they charge around them. Then he channels his inner Scar and throws her under the hooves before they fly off. With that back on Ignis, Harry Selden dies again. As you can tell from the commentary, there's a lot of antecedents here, and almost all of them not from Asimov. We get some Beneath the Planet of the Apes, some Lion King, some Close Encounters, some Battlestar Galactica. I'm still not sure why they gave the name of Harry's wife partner as Yana when the books had it as Doris Venabili in almost precisely the same role in the prequel novels. Only difference is she's a robot there. Maybe they're saving her for later, or not. I also just realized that Salvor Hardin has basically become Wanda Selden from the novels since she was Harry's granddaughter and very tied into the Second Foundation. The mentalics don't appear to be protecting them from the mule, but creating him. All the other plots move slightly forward, though Belrios has practically disappeared from the narrative. Too many threads going on at once can get tricky. Next time, the Polly Constant and Hober Mallow plots get moved forward. That's for sure, at least what the promos say. Maybe something else too. That's next time on Valleys of Numenor. Please hit the subscribe button if you like what you're hearing. I'm John Hartrop. Thanks for listening.